Welcome to Am I an A-Hole, where OP's husband tried to bring his mistress to their home to live permanently to enjoy both OP and his mistress. My ex-husband, David, 30-year-old male, and I, 27-year-old female, were married for 7 years and have a daughter, Mila, 6-year-old female, who lives with me. We grew up in the same neighborhood and went to the same school. He proposed to me in 2016 when I was in high school, and he was in college, and we got married after dating for some time. Apparently, we had a stable marriage, but it fell apart 6 months ago when I caught David cheating on me. While I work Monday through Friday, and typically get home around 6:30 to 7 p.m., David works remotely and stays at home all day. One day, he messaged me to share that he had spoken to an old friend of his, Emma, 28-year-old female, who had joined a company 30 minutes from us and was going to work the night shift. He told me that after learning about the difficulties she had endured, he had extended an invitation for her to stay with us until she gets her first salary and could rent an apartment. It was very difficult for me to decide whether or not to let a female friend of my husband live with him in our home alone for a whole month while I was not around for most of the day. My husband told me that she used to be his co-worker at his first job, probably more than 8 years ago. I have heard of most of his friends, met many of them at different ceremonies, and even visited a few, but I have never heard Emma's name, let alone met her. What really upset me was that he didn't ask me if it would be okay. Instead, he simply informed me that he had invited her. Nobody offers a homestay to any random co-worker out of kindness. It was a clear red flag. So, I soon made up my mind that I would not let Emma stay at our home. Upon arriving home, I inquired about the matter. My husband explained that Emma was in desperate need of help. He told me that both her parents and brother had passed away within a few months of each other a year ago. Her only remaining family member was her sister, who was working with the World Food Program and was on a mission to the Middle East. He also mentioned that she had recently gone through a breakup with her boyfriend. He said that she seemed very distraught during their phone call, and he didn't really know what to say or how to console her. He felt really bad for her, especially because she was mostly alone now. So, he accepted her request to move in with us for a month. As I had already made up my mind, I told him that I could not allow a female friend of his to live with him at our home in my absence. After hearing this, he pretended to be disappointed and said, "Don't you trust me?" I told him that I trust him, but I didn't know about Emma's intentions. I said that grief and a recent breakup could lead to unpredictable behavior, and I worry that allowing this might invite trouble into our life. After some mild argument, my husband agreed with me, and then he called Emma and told her that I was not comfortable with her living with us and refused to let her move in. I appreciated that my husband respected my feelings and didn't pressure me. However, I worried that I might have hurt him because his empathy towards Emma seemed genuine. I thought, if he had an intention of cheating on me, why would he have told me about Emma? He could have met her somewhere else, and why would he ask me to let her move in? Then, I reasoned that although I knew most of his friends, but not all of them, and that she might be among those friends whom I didn't know. With his 7 years of apparent loyalty and these logical reasons, I couldn't help but feel guilty. After reflecting for the next 2 days, I finally apologized to him for misunderstanding him and hurting his trust and suggested inviting Emma to live with us. David asked me whether I was sure. I nodded my head and hugged him. This was the greatest mistake I made in my life. My husband accepted my apology and casually proceeded to invite Emma to move in as planned. I met Emma at dinner and she told all the problems she had allegedly faced. Everything seemed normal for the next month, but doubts arose in my mind when my husband requested me to let Emma stay with us for another month. When I asked why, he said that Emma could not rent the apartment because she had to send a large chunk of her salary to her sister back in Vermont, who had recently been in a car accident. It was clearly a lie, because this contradicted his previous story, that his sister was working in the Middle East. Though it was a huge red flag, I didn't confront him and tell him what he had told me about Emma's sister a month ago. Instead, I decided to play along. That night, I couldn't sleep and spent the entire night regretting my decision to let Emma move in with us. The next day, I took 3 days off from work to investigate Emma. I met her colleague Carol, 28-year-old female, who was her junior, both in the office and college. She revealed that Emma and David attended the same college, and David had proposed to Emma in 2015. However, Emma rejected him and entered into a relationship with another guy and married later on. This information was shocking to me because when David proposed to me in 2016, he claimed that it was his first proposal. After meeting Carol, it became clear that he had proposed to me only after being rejected by Emma, and all his coolness was fake. She also told me that Emma was a kinda nympho because she cheated on her husband multiple times leading to their divorce. Then, she remarried, but ended up getting a divorce 1.5 years ago. After 2 divorces, she proposed to David. Despite being aware of Emma's past and being married, David accepted her proposal. To verify Carol's claims, I spoke to some other college friends of Emma, and they all shared more or less the same stories. Knowing all this, I thought about how mean Emma and my husband were, and I was particularly angry at my husband for cheating on me without caring about the consequences of his actions on our marriage and daughter if his infidelity were to be revealed. I was shocked to learn that David, apparently a proud husband and father, had stooped so low for his pleasure and was on the brink of ruining our marriage for a bimbo. I wanted to throw Emma out of my home by grabbing her hair, but I decided to catch them red-handed. Next morning, I left for work as usual but went to my friend and returned home at around 10 a.m. and entered through the back door, where I found my husband and Emma in a compromising position on the same bed. My husband was utterly surprised to find me at home. I pulled Emma off the bed and kicked her out of the house. David hesitantly tried to stop me and continued saying that we should discuss the matter in a calm manner. When he grabbed my arm, I yelled back at him and said I would discuss it with him after throwing that effing prostitute out of my home. After I kicked Emma out of the house, I confronted David about his infidelity. Instead of giving me a straight answer, he began complaining about to avoid the issue. The argument quickly turned into a heated fight. Despite efforts from our families to salvage our marriage, the damage was irreparable, and we ultimately decided to end our relationship, and we soon got divorced. Following our divorce, David married Emma, and they currently reside in our former home. Now, I regret letting Emma into our life. If I had not allowed her to move in with us, my husband's relationship with Emma may not have progressed, and my life might not have been ruined this way. I always pray that Emma might dump David the way she dumped her 2 ex-husbands, so that he realizes what he has done to me. However, some of my friends say that people who wish bad things for others often experience the same fate. But I don't agree with them in this case, because my ex-husband is not an innocent person. Instead, he cheated on me and ruined my life, and hence deserves the worst possible fate. So, AITA for praying that my ex-husband gets divorced? OP is not an AH, and she should wait for her husband's mistress to dump him. I am sure that she will eventually leave him. However, I believe all of this is the result of OP's wrong decisions and choices. If she had not allowed her husband's mistress to move in, she would not be in this situation. I would say OP is not an AH, but she is definitely emotionally vulnerable. What do the Mac Reddit fans think? Is the OP an AH or not? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like the stories I brought you, just hit the like button, share them as much as you can, and don't forget to subscribe to Mac Reddit for a daily dose. Bye bye. See you tomorrow with some more spicy fries.